cooking skills. In the beginning, I didn't have all that many electrical appliances. I still used to beat egg whites with a whisker manually. So as you can imagine, my muscles are quite toned and tense from all that labouring. However, in my older age, I have opted for a few electrical items that just make my life easier, including a handheld beater. These really do make egg whites whisk a lot faster than what I did manually. These items aren't necessarily items that will make your cooking any better than if you were to do it manually. It's really just about saving time and saving the effort so that you can put more effort into another part of your cooking. But again, if you'd like to do things manually and have those toned muscles from beating egg whites manually, then please, by all means do. You will get so much more satisfaction than beating it by hand rather than watching it being whisked by a beater. One thing that I have discovered in the last few years is a food processor. Now, I spent not a large amount of money, but I spent a little bit extra getting a food processor that I could chop and change elements to. So as you can see, this is the base here. There's two attachments here that I've got on show, but I also have quite a number of attachments, but these two are the main ones that I regularly use on a daily basis. The other ones are quite infrequent. But again, it is up to you and your preferences and how you cook, what you cook, and what you cook on a daily basis versus something that just might be unique. If you'd like to have all of these things in your cooking repertoire, there's nothing to say that you can't. These are just the items that if I was starting out again, I'd find really useful. So this is a food processor. I've got the blender one, and then I've actually got the food processor attachment to it. This is quite a large one, even though I don't have a new family at this particular time. Down the track, I definitely may have a larger family. So that's why I've been prepared enough to actually get the bigger one. Also just means that if you have unexpected guests, you've got more room to go bigger than what you do for smaller. Yeah. Alright. One of the things that I definitely would have used if somebody had shown me this video is a digital set of scales. Now I can't stress the importance to the digital bit. I had been using my old-fashioned scales where it had been the dial over and you had to squint your eyes at the little tiny digits to see and then divide it by 5 to get 200 grams out of 1 kilo. Going digital was the best thing that I ever did. But again, it's to your taste and preferences, so if you love squinting at those little digits trying to work it out, then please, by all means. For the first couple of years, I didn't have a set of scales at all, and I had to work things out by using cups and teaspoons if it was. So I can feel your pain, but it's worth the $40 to $50 to actually buy a digital set of scales. Once you go digital, you really won't go back. Everyday utensils using in the kitchen, well, this is a whole world that you could open your doors to. There's that many utensils on the market to do pretty much anything in your cooking skills. But the main ones that I use definitely on a daily basis include tongs, flipping, turning things, a slotted spoon. Now this is quite good for frying things, that you can actually pick stuff up and it drains the oil out the bottom. A spatula, pretty easy. Soup spoon, big spoons or serving spoons, these are quite good for. Wooden spoons for stirring. As you can see, these are greatly used as well. I have a good tip for these ones are actually to get different size wooden spoons of the handles so that you can adapt these to whatever you're making. So if I'm using a really big pot, as you saw before, then an extra long handle comes in handy. One of the things that I use quite regularly on the weekend when I'm making batches and cakes for work or school lunches for my family is a flexible icing spatula. Now these really come in handy, because it bends and it's flexible, so you can get stuff out of bowls, you can just everything with it. I do have a wooden one as well because in some occasions it is quite good not to have that flexibleness and it is quite stiff, so I do have a wooden one as well. Peeling. Now this is a great debate. My mum is a great traditionalist in using a knife to still peel things. I've become to the younger generation and invested in a slicer, in a vegetable peeler, sorry. It is still up for great debate, and I will leave that debate into your household because I'm sure you have the same. Can opener, and then obviously a whisker. Now, coming back, I have a number of chopping boards in different sizes as well because I like to work quite efficiently on one chopping board for one particular dish. So a really great big board on the bottom, as you can see here, has a lot more room that you can flex yourself out onto, and you can just section things and just organisation. I do have some smaller ones as well, but then I have these ones that you can see here that have handles. Now these are quite good as serving dishes. So if you're entertaining or you have guests over and you want like a small entree, these things are quite good because A, it's less washing up, and B, you have good handles so you can actually serve around quite easily. I have some pastry brushes that I use quite consistently. I have a big one and then I have a small one. Just ease of brushing different size pastries. Now, the two most important things in my cooking drawer are my measuring cups and also my teaspoons. Now, I go down as little as a quarter of a teaspoon. These ones are quite good because they're colour coded. So 1 tablespoon, half a tablespoon, 1 teaspoon, half a teaspoon, and then you can go down into those a quarter of a teaspoon. I have a different couple of sets of these because if you're baking one or more cakes in one weekend, then you're sure to go through teaspoons like no tomorrow. Just handy. Measuring cups. Now you can have metal versus plastic. The debate can go on forever. It's really down to your preference. If you like metal, use metal. If you like plastic, use plastic. These ones are just what I've had in my drawer for the last few years and haven't broken, so I haven't replaced them. 1 cup, half cup, quarter of a cup. 1/3 of a cup, and then 1/4 of a cup. And again, I have 2 or 3 sets of these because if you're making numerous dishes on a weekend for lunches or whatever you need to do, then it's good to have 2 or 3 sets because you always go through the half cup and 1 cup.